Greetings, travelers. Welcome to Lorespire. I'm about to teach you everything that you need to know about alchemy in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This is a very detailed guide, and by the end, you will know the absolute fastest way to level alchemy, how to brew potions without a recipe, how to precisely time your brewing processes to get a perfect potion every single time, and virtually everything else that you need to know to be a Grandmaster Alchemist in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. There are chapters included below, so please use those to skip ahead if you feel a particular section is not relevant for you. First, let's look at the alchemy skill itself and then its perks. The most important thing to note when reading what the alchemy skill does is that the greater your alchemy skill is, the more you can deviate from the process without repercussions, meaning that the more you level the skill, the easier it is to make stronger potions and poisons. So, if you are having problems brewing potions at the start of the game, don't worry. It gets much easier as both you and Henry gain more experience in the art of alchemy. Now, looking at the alchemy perks, I first want to say that by the time you reach max level in alchemy, you will be able to learn all of these perks except for the ones that are mutually exclusive with each other. At level 6 alchemy, you gain access to the Art of Preservation, Enthusiast, and Potion Seller perks. Enthusiast might be the worst alchemy perk, so just ignore it. Art of Preservation makes your food and undried herbs last longer. It's a nice convenience, but not really necessary in my opinion. Potion Seller gives you better prices for the potions you sell. Now, to me, Potion Seller is clearly the perk that you should take at this level if you plan to power level alchemy early on, because you won't have that much money early in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, so this will help you with that. Now, if you don't plan to level alchemy early, or you aren't concerned with making extra cash, then you might consider saving this perk point so that you can get both level 10 alchemy perks when your alchemy hits level 10. At level 8 alchemy, you have the Secret of Matter and Secret of Equilibrium perks to choose from. Secret of Equilibrium will give you a little more leeway to make mistakes in the brewing process. It's actually pretty helpful. Secret of Matter gives you an additional potion or poison each time you successfully brew them. I suggest taking the Secret of Equilibrium here. Stronger potions are better than more potions because you can always just brew an additional time to get more potions, and that will also yield you more alchemy experience points. Also, brewing stronger potions will give you additional potions anyways. These perks are mutually exclusive, so learning one of these means that you cannot learn the other. At Alchemy level 10, you can learn Poison Specialist or Purple Haze. If you do most of your fighting with a bow, then I would learn Poison Specialist here. Poisoned arrows are quite overpowered in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Otherwise, Purple Haze is likely the better choice for you. At level 12 Alchemy, you get access to the Dark Arts Apprentice and Water of Life perks. Dark Arts Apprentice makes it easier to brew potions between midnight and 4:30 AM, and gives bonuses to Coercion, Domination, and Intimidation checks when talking to commoners. The Water of Life perk causes healing potions to heal more quickly. I prefer the Dark Arts Apprentice perk here, but if you find yourself using a lot of healing potions in battle, Water of Life might be a better choice for you. At Alchemy level 14, you get access to the Secret of Equilibrium 2 and Secret of Matter 2 perks. These perks are better versions of their level 8 predecessors. I think most players, especially if they follow this guide, will be making perfect potions every time by this point. But if you are still struggling to make strong potions at this point, you can take Secret of Equilibrium 2. For most of you, Secret of Matter 2 is probably the better choice to make here. Again, these are mutually exclusive, so you can only learn one of them. At level 16 Alchemy, you should definitely learn Secret of Secrets. It's the only new perk at this level, and it allows you to make exceptional potions and poisons called Henry potions or poisons. These are powerful, and the sooner you gain access to these, the sooner Henry will become a nigh unstoppable juggernaut. As soon as you learn this perk, I suggest you brew some Henry Fox potions. as these will give you a huge increase to your speech skill, allow you to study books much more quickly, and most importantly give you a big boost in experience gained, allowing you to level much faster. Also, it lasts for 2 full days, which is just crazy. Anyways, I'll show you how to make Henry Fox potions later on in the video. And actually making Henry versions of pretty much all the stat buffing potions ASAP is also a great idea, as they will make you quite powerful in combat. At level 18 Alchemy, you get access to the Poison Specialist 2, Purple Haze 2, and Special Powder perks. By this time, you probably have access to a nice stock of poisons, or can create such a stock pretty easily. So Poison Specialist 2 is more luxury than necessity. But if marksmanship is your primary mode of combat, and you find yourself running out of poisons for your arrows, then maybe you want to take Poison Specialist 2 here. Purple Haze 2 can give you a huge vitality boost, and it's the perk I think will be most beneficial for most of you. If you do not yet have the prerequisite Purple Haze, then take it now and get Purple Haze 2 at Alchemy level 20. Guns in this game are a novelty that can be mostly ignored, so the Powder Specialist perk is down there competing with the Enthusiast perk for worst alchemy perk in my opinion. But if you just love the guns in KCD2 and you find yourself using them a lot, then maybe Powder Specialist could work for you here. In the early game, there are 4 main places where you can buy alchemy recipes and ingredients. There's the Apothecary, shown here in Troskovitz. From him, you can get these recipes and ingredients. There are also herb gardens in front of the place filled with herbs to be harvested. Next, there's an herbalist that you can find on the map right here. Basically, just head straight north from the T in Trotsky, and you'll get there. You can see he's right there in the forest. He has these recipes for sale and these ingredients. Then there's a vendor found here in the Nomads camp, right up in this area, and you can purchase these recipes and ingredients from her. Next, we have Pavlena, who is actually at Bozhena, the herb woman's house. You do have to do a quest that you can get from Bozhena in order to have her show up, but once you do the Bad Blood quest and you get Pavlena to show up, you can get these recipes and these ingredients from her. Now, as I'm sure you noticed, alchemy recipes are pretty expensive and the cost is prohibitive in the early game. However, you can actually brew a potion or poison without the recipe if you know how to do so. I'll list all of the recipes at the end of this video for you to reference. They'll be in alphabetical order, so you just use the chapter selections to skip to whatever you need, and you'll be able to make it without purchasing the recipe. One last thing that I want to cover before we start the actual alchemy is herbs and their freshness. Herbs can be found all over the place, but if you are looking for something specific, try checking the herb section of the crafting tab shown here. The top bullet point of each herb gives you an idea of where you might find it. Most herbs are plentiful, and you can just harvest them as you travel and keep plenty in stock, but a few are harder to find. Fortunately, you can usually purchase enough of those to get by. But just to help you out a bit so that maybe you don't have to do that so much, I would like to show you there's a spot here, a little bit south of Takov, where you can get a ton of herb Paris. Alright, it's right about here. And it's actually at the top of a small waterfall by a fallen tree that crosses the stream that goes through here. For Belladonna, another one that can be difficult to find, if you actually look in this forest right here, this section, you can find quite a bit of Belladonna in there. You'll also find a good bit of Eyebright and some nettles while you're at it. Anyways, that's pretty much all of the most difficult herbs to find. If there's anything else you're having difficulty finding, check the stocks of the 4 vendors that I showed earlier. Now, let's talk about freshness. All herbs have a condition level. The higher that condition, the more fresh the herb is. Generally, if this number here in this column is above 50, using the herb should not negatively affect the potion that you are making. But if it's below 50, it can weaken the potion. The lower the condition, the greater the chance you will produce a weakened result. Having a higher alchemy skill and learning the secret of equilibrium perks can, to an extent, make up for using herbs with a low condition rating, allowing you to still brew strong or Henry potions even with subpar ingredients. At a drying rack, like this one shown right here in Gelyov, you can dry your herbs to keep them from ever spoiling, and you can even dry spoiled herbs to restore their condition, which is awesome, but there is a drawback. When brewing potions or poisons, if you use multiple dried herb ingredients, it can lower the quality of the potion. But if only one dried ingredient is used, then you can still achieve strong or Henry level results. Learning the equilibrium perk will actually offset this so that you can use multiple dried herb types in a single potion and still achieve strong or Henry level results. Now let's get to the actual alchemy. The first thing that I'm going to show you is how to power level your alchemy. This is the fastest way to level alchemy, and with this method, you should be able to get to level 16 alchemy to learn the Secret of Secrets perk to start making Henry potions within the first hour of gaining the freedom to explore the wider world. Okay, so you'll want to check these 3 spots here to get as much marigold as you can. And check these 2 spots right here to collect as much nettle as you can. You should come away with hundreds of each. Also pick whatever chamomile and sage you find in those areas. Then come to the alchemy station found here in the apothecary's yard in Troskovitz. Take out your torch if you don't have it out, because lighting can be pretty bad at most alchemy stations, so having your torch out is quite helpful. Thank you, Smitty. Now you want to brew as many marigold and chamomile decoctions as you can. You want to make those potions because they are the easiest to make and all potions yield the same amount of experience. But before we get started, here's a quick lesson on alchemy yields and experience points so that you can better understand why I'm telling you to do this. So brewing any potion or poison of a weak strength will give you 1 of that potion and add 78 experience to your alchemy skill. Brewing regular strength potions will give you 2 of that potion and 98 alchemy experience points, and brewing a strong or Henry strength potion gives you 3 of that potion and yields 132 alchemy XP. The Secret of Matter perks can, of course, increase the number of potions created at each of these levels. So if you want to practice your player skills and or make as much money as possible while you're gaining levels in alchemy, then focusing on getting the brewing process right so that you can get 3 strong or Henry potions is clearly the way to go. But if you just want your alchemy skill to rise as quickly as possible, then you actually want to focus on making weak potions. The reason for that is that marigold and chamomile decoctions are easy enough to make that even at the lowest alchemy level, you can simply add all of the ingredients to the pot and pour them into a phial to get a weak potion. No boiling or grinding needed. This is much quicker than going through the whole process to get a strong potion. So, if raising your alchemy as fast as possible is your only concern, brewing weak chamomile or marigold concoctions is the most efficient way. Also, once you gain enough alchemy levels, you will begin to make these potions at regular strength instead of weak strength, even without cooking or grinding. But just in case you do want to take the more balanced approach, which is probably the better approach for most players, especially new players, here's how you can make a perfect marigold decoction. Okay, so for the perfect marigold decoction, we're going to add water, which is already there. 1 handful of nettles. Then we're going to drop this to let it boil, immediately turning the sand glass as soon as the option is available. It's going to boil for 2 turns. So once the sand has completely run out, we flip it again. And then we get ready to pull this up as soon as the last grains of sand are out of the hourglass. Now we're going to take 2 handfuls of marigold and grind them in the mortar. Then we drop them in. Grab a file and pour, and we'll have ourselves a strong marigold decoction. Okay, now I'm going to brew several different types of other potions that all together will demonstrate every one of the different parts of the alchemy station and how to correctly use them to brew a perfect potion every time. Now we are switching to a further version of this character that does have enough levels in alchemy to get the Secret of Secrets perk. But as you can see here, we do not have any other perks, so we just have Secret of Secrets to make Henry potions and nothing else to assist us in getting the process correct. So the first potion we're going to make is a Henry's Fox potion. I just want to show you real fast, there is a prepare option here in the book. If you use it, it'll take out all your ingredients for you, which is kind of convenient. But if you look in your inventory, you'll see that it tends to use ingredients that are spoiled or with the lowest condition first. If not every time, certainly a lot of the time. So you don't want to do that if you have low condition herbs in your inventory. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that real quick. Okay, now that we have fresh herbs ready, we already have the oil in the cauldron. We're going to take the St. John's wort, put it in the mortar. We're going to take the nettle, put it in the mortar. We're going to grind it up. Drop it in the cauldron. Now we're going to move the cauldron down so that it'll start boiling. And as soon as we're able, we want to hit the sand glass and turn it. Now we have to boil for 2 turns. So as soon as the sands have run out here, we'll flip the sand glass again. And again, just as they're running out, we will pick this up. Okay, now we need to grind the charcoal. Add it to the cauldron. And take a handful of belladonna. Add it. And we're going to drop this, flip the sand glass as soon as you're able, and let it boil for 1 turn. So as soon as these sands have fallen through the glass here, we will pick it up. Right about there. Now grab a file and pour. And we should have 3 Henry's Fox potions that will greatly increase our experience, speech ability, and studying abilities for 2 days. Okay, so the next potion that we're going to make is a Buck's Blood potion. I already have the oil here. And we need a handful of St. John's wort. We're going to grind it. And we're doing the Buck's Blood potion because it will require us to use the bellows. And I want to be able to show you that so that you know how to do that. Pretty simple, but just want to go over it. So then we're going to add a handful of comfrey. Now we're going to drop this and boil it for 1 turn. So we drop, immediately turn over the sand glass, and we will pick it up just as the last sands are going through the glass, since it's only 1 turn that it needs to boil for. Right about there. Okay, now we're going to take the dandelion. We're going to add it. We're going to drop it. Okay, immediately hit the sand glass and then pump the bellows. And as soon as the sand is through, we'll pick it back up because it's only set for 1 turn. If it had been multiple turns, then you would hit the bellows each time you turn the sand glass. Then we just grab a file and we pour. And now we have a Henry Buck's Blood potion that will greatly increase our stamina and stamina regeneration for an hour. Incredibly helpful. Okay, now we're going to make a Artemisia potion. All right, and for that, we need spirits, which are already in the cauldron. We're going to put a handful of sage. We're going to drop this and boil it for 1 turn, immediately turning the sand glass as soon as we're able to. Then we shall wait for the sands to run through the sand glass and pick it up just as they finish. There we go. That's good. Now we need to grind 2 handfuls of wormwood and boil for 2 turns. So there's 1 into the mortar. 2 into the mortar. Let's grind it up. Now we're going to drop it in the cauldron here. Move the cauldron down. You know the drill. Immediately turn the sand glass. Now it's 2 turns this time. So we're going to wait for this to finish its first run through. Then flip it as soon as the sands finish passing through it. As soon as they finish this time, we will immediately pick it up right about there. Okay, now this time we actually have to distill it. So we're going to grab a file, and instead of holding E on the cauldron to pour, you hold E on the still here to distill. All right, and you don't have to do anything after that. All this is automatic, including the bellows here. And we have ourselves Henry's Artemisia, giving us 8 strength, which is an incredible buff, especially early in the game. Very powerful. Anyways, you now know absolutely everything that you need to know to be a Grandmaster Alchemist in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I really hope that this helped you out. Be sure to leave a like and a sub if it did. Okay, and if you have any comments or questions, be sure to place them below. But I think we covered everything pretty well. Now, here are all of the recipes in case you need to make them without having found the recipe in game.